Hi, my name is Isabella Narslander, and this is my home and schools connection video. So first off, I think it's important as professional educators that we recognize that culture is going to drastically influence how our students interact with us within our classroom and within social settings. The reality of having ELL students is they're going to have a different life experience than some of your other students. And it's just super important that we not only recognize that, but embrace that within our classroom. So typically, a lot of the times we're going to see culture influence how these students address others socially, emotionally, and educationally. That might look like for some students having a different relationship with teachers and learning how to shift that in a way that's going to positively affect these students. Some strategies that you can use as a professional educator to help your families of your ELL students to get more involved in your classroom. It can look like a number of things. I think one of the coolest opportunities we have is developing relationship. The reality of cultural difference is you have to start at the foundation of relationship to move forward and to have the opportunity to grow both as individuals and as an educational professional and a student. So some of the things that I've heard of that I've really enjoyed and have seen applied within classrooms can look like relationships with trusted staff. That seems, kind of obvious, but the reality of that is people need to be approachable and friendly and receptive to concerns and just genuinely like a champion for those students. Honestly, just as a student in the classroom, I know that my parents really valued when teachers took that extra mile to say, like, I know this about your child and I've learned this about your child. And I think the same is true with our ELL students. We need to be able to fully sit down with parents and address the things that you have enjoyed learning about their student, and also have the ability to be transparent with parents and recognize that, like, you've observed something, you want to learn more about this something, and you want to move forward with that in your classroom and find ways to use it to benefit that student. A lot of the times, students are going to come with different quirks, and it's so important that we have the ability to talk that through with families and figure out ways to make that appropriate in our classrooms. Inclusion is a beautiful part of education. We have such an opportunity to develop our classrooms in a way that say every student has a seat at the table. Whether that seat looks like, one being moved for a student with a wheelchair or another with an elastic band at the bottom so your student who wiggles a lot can flick the band. It's just a matter of taking the time to create the kind of classroom where people feel invited and important. And I think that's especially true for our students who come from a different cultural background. Having the opportunity to express themselves in a way that says, I belong here even though I'm different, because we're all different. And I think that's just a really important quality to have as a professional educator. And in terms of addressing the role that families and communities have within influencing language learning, we really have to address, does the student have a family and community that is willing to participate in those things? I think first off, you have to recognize that different families are going to have different needs, and some families are super excited about their student learning English and being introduced to culture in that way, and some families are not. And so it's important to assess that family and recognize what tools you can give them to succeed. If they are a family that is willing to participate in influencing your students' language learning, give them the opportunity to do so. Send home activities that they can engage with their student in, and allow them the space to really become a part of that child's learning, because the reality is community has a tremendous influence on language. Thank you.